And I thought Ozzie did a kind of a low key for a change way to go about it, and he still gets some business over it. All right, that's the backdrop here as we get set for Game 4, the finale of this homestand. Rich Waltz and Jeff Conan have the pleasure calling it for you. Russell and I will see you on Marlins Live postgame. Coming up, Game 4 against Washington.
Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. Marlins team shop here at Marlins Park as the Fish get set to take on the Washington Nationals. Finishes off a 4-game series. The Nationals just keep on keeping on. And right now, 51-35, the best record in the National League. Steve Lombardozzi is at second base. Bryce Harper will hit second and right. Ryan Zimmerman at third. Adam LaRoche at first. Michael Morse in the 5 spot. Ian Desmond, again, getting another day off with that sore quad muscle. Danny Espinosa will start at short. Roger Bernardina has made some great defensive plays against the Fish this year. Jesus Flores behind the plate, and Edwin Jackson, the veteran, is on the mound. And there's Carlos Zambrano, Big Z's 18th start.
Big Z looking to snap a little bit of a dry spell. 0-6 in his last 6 starts.
Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch, and Zambrano misses outside. The count is 1-0. And missing has been an issue for Zambrano as he pours across the strike. His last 6 starts, you noted, he's 0-4 in those starts, 24 walks. And the walks seem to come in bunches for him. Up the middle, off of Zambrano's hand, Reyes makes the play. Zambrano doesn't look like he's hurt, but that usually brings the cursory visit from pitching coach and trainer just to make sure.
And here they come. Just like the Price is Right. Come on down.
I think that's in the new players agreement. Anytime a pitcher has something touched by a ball glancing off a leg or a hand, you have to have the trainer come out. But certainly you got to check. You got to make sure that a pitcher is not compensating for something. Zambrano looks like he's fine.
But as an athlete and as a pitcher, I mean, when he goes out there and says, I'm fine, I think you should say, okay. You see, actually, it was a great play because that would have been a base hit up the middle. Deflected right to Jose Reyes, who makes another great play to finish it off.
Zambrano's going to throw some warm-up tosses just to make sure he's got the feeling in the fingers. Looked like it just hit the fingertips. And Zambrano says, I'm fine. And everybody goes back. And Z has the first out. All right, here's Bryce Harper, who, of course, yesterday's first at bat had the pine tar up. It's higher on the bat in the first at bat, and then in the second at bat. And we've been through it a few times on Marlins Live, in case you missed it. Ozzie Guillen called Davey Johnson. They had a brief chat. Guillen said repeatedly he loves Harper, loves the way he plays the game, thinks he's great for the game. Was just trying to warn him through the umpires about the pine tar. Felt that it became public and got out of hand. I think everybody is just trying to move on at this point, including us.
Yes, we'll talk about it this first at bat, and then we will move on, right? But I mean, when you looked at, there was definitely a difference between first at bat and second at bat, and it's just a look thing. There really is no functional reason for the pine tar to be that high on the bat.
And of course, the rule is in place so that when a hitter hits the ball, if he has pine tar up in the hitting area, it keeps the pine tar off the ball for the fielders.
Exactly.
That pitch misses inside, and Harper trots down to first. Harper, a good base stealer. He's got 11 bags this year. The Nationals and the Marlins. Final game of the series. Here's the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Logan Morrison, Emilio Bonifacio, Greg Dobbs in the outfield. Hanley Ramirez, Jose Reyes, Infante Lee. Brett Hayes behind the plate tonight, giving John Buck a night off, and Carlos Zambrano to do the pitching.
Speaking of nights off, it's the final night off for Tommy Hutton. He will be joining the team, and he'll be activated tomorrow night.
Reluctantly leaving
in Chicago.
the Hutton compound in Durango, Colorado. I'm sure he's been practicing his broadcaster voice the last couple days. Might be a little out of practice.
Hey, he looked like that on the zip line. Zimmerman now with Harper at first. Zambrano is usually pretty quick to the plate. You got Brett Hayes behind the plate. John Buck has started the first 3 games of the set. Up the middle into center field. Zimmerman cracks a hit. And Harper will hold at second. Bonifacio gets there. One of the impressive things about the Nationals, they're in first place, best record in the National League, and that man isn't having an enormous season. 9 homers, 42 runs batted in. Now, that's a nice season, but it's not the huge numbers that many people expect out of Zimmerman.
Not at all, and he missed a number of games earlier in the season. He's only got 72 games played, and this is their 87th, I believe, or 88. But, he has been a Marlin killer. He's really done well against the Marlins, well over 300 in his career, has more home runs against the Marlins than any other team. So what he's doing now is no surprise.
The guy at the plate, Adam LaRoche, has really picked up the slack in the absence of Jason Worth, who went down a month into the season. The absence of Michael Morse, who wasn't around for the first month and a half of the season. He's had a real nice season. LaRoche, 21 doubles, 15 homers. He's driven in 53, and he's got 5 hits in this series. And Zambrano has fallen behind at 2-0.
And those numbers, as great as they are, he's actually cooled off a little bit. The first 2 months of the season, you saw him on a lot of leaderboards. And our point with Zambrano being in the strike zone, you see how he's struggling with his location right now. Brett Hayes on that pitch set up outside corner, and it missed inside. And we've seen 2 or 3 pitches already miss that badly.
.30 pitch. Smacked. Caught. Infante. Double play. Reyes covering. Omar Infante. And Zambrano dodges one there. LaRoche scalded a ball for a 4-6 double play. And a nice one from Omar Infante. a D-Train cap from years gone by. He's got to get himself to the team store, though. That is a nice relic in Marlins history. This is the lineup that will try to get some runs tonight. Jose Reyes, you see the change. Emilio Bonifacio up in the 2 spot. Carlos Lee hitting 3rd. Logan Morrison slotted in the cleanup position. Hanley Ramirez hitting 5th. Greg Dobbs is in right field. Omar Infante back down in the 7th spot. Brett Hayes hits 8th. And Carlos Zambrano hits 9th. Against the veteran Edwin Jackson, who was a nice addition and I think clearly a signal that the Nationals meant business. They had such a good and talented young rotation. Jordan Zimmerman, of course, Steven Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, even Ross Detweiler. But to lay out $11 million for 1 year of Edwin Jackson, the guy that won 12 ball games, pitched for a world champion team at the end of last year, pitched for Ozzie Guillen at the start of last year with the White Sox, and Jackson misses outside.
Definitely a sign that the Washington Nationals wanted to win, and they wanted to win now when they acquired Edwin Jackson.
Jackson made 4 postseason starts for the St. Louis Cardinals. Trading deadline acquisition from the White Sox. This is a guy that has been one of those pitchers that teams have gone out and traded for a lot. He's been traded 6 times. And he misses down low to Reyes.
Not the normal high velocity pitches we would expect from Edwin Jackson. Currently 10th in Major League Baseball on average velocity amongst qualified starters, a 93.6 average.
There's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, line foul and out of play. It's 2-2. Marlins obviously have struggled in the last few days with runners in scoring position. They actually had hit well end of June into July with runners in scoring position. And so we'll see if that changes tonight. We'll see if they can get some guys in scoring position. 2-2 coming. And Reyes goes after a diving fastball that Flores is able to hold for the strikeout. Nationals defense.
Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Michael Morse, Roger Bernardina, Bryce Harper in the outfield. Zimmerman, Espinoza, Lombardosi, LaRoche, Edwin Jackson, and then Jesus Flores behind the plate. We saw some serious speed and excellent defense from those outfielders last night. Roger Bernardina making some highlight reel catches.
Here's Bonifacio, his first series back after a month-and-a-half absence. After his thumb surgery, and he takes a fastball for a strike. 2 for 9 in the series, but the thing you've got to like is he's walked 3 times. So he's been on base a lot, which is absolutely what the Marlins want from him. There's the breaking ball from Jackson, and it's 0-2.
His whole game is his legs, and they need his legs on base to steal some bases and score some runs.
Columbus High School in Shaw, Georgia. Jackson's 28. And he misses away. The Dodgers drafted him. Was traded to the Rays, then to the Tigers, then to Arizona, then to the White Sox. And now the Nationals have signed him after he was traded to the Cardinals for the tail end of last year. 1-2 pitch. What does the Coventry Healthcare of Florida scouting report say about him?
Well, it says rising mid-90s fastball, which we haven't seen yet, and he might be just getting warmed up. A pretty good changeup and slider, but I think more so than anything is a big curveball that's pretty tight and breaks very big. And 17 in 10 seasons, so he's had a lot of addresses in his career.
That one kicked off of 2 Nationals. Jackson got a piece of it, and then Lombardosi got a piece of it. Bonifacio thought about looking for second base, but his initial path was going straight through the bag, and he'll settle for a base hit.
Maybe a little generous on the scorekeeping there, but
with his speed, a deflected backhand, I'm going hit on it.
It might have been a close play.
Wait a minute, aren't you a card-carrying member of the Hitters Guild?
I certainly am.
All right, so it's a base hit.
I just wish I would have had some more of those. They would have given me an error on that. God, I wish I could run.
Here's Carlos Lee. Well, Bonifacio can run. Let's see if he does. And Lee takes down low. El Caballo now, don't necessarily point the finger at Carlos Lee for the Marlins' struggles lately. Lee hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats with runners in scoring position. Bonifacio another step on that lead. Not running. And Jackson quickening his delivery but bouncing the pitch. And it is 2-0.
Yeah, Carlos Lee has only had 4 at-bats with men in scoring position, but he's brought the team average up a little bit. He's 2 for 4. We're batting .500.
4 hits in this series. Got Logan Morrison on deck. The one time Bonifacio was thrown out was in Cleveland on the play in which he hurt his thumb.
A little bit surprised he hasn't gone yet. Edwin Jackson has a pretty good leg kick going toward home plate, so I'm not exactly sure what his times are, but they're probably in the 1-2, 1-3 range, which is good times for Bonifacio to try and steal.
I like that. Good times.
Good times.
Bonifacio leaning. He's got the oven mitt on the left hand, sort of the platypus look. We'll have to ask Bonifacio if that thing has a name yet. That's a little closer.
I think maybe on the backside he should draw like a couple fingers and he can do a low vista with the platypus hand. That would be cool.
I think it would be cool if the Marlins would win some games. That would be much cooler. And I think that's the hope with Bonifacio, is that he adds some spark. Ozzie Guillen said today that he senses that the ball club has a little more energy and a little more life with Bonifacio back. Now they need that, the Marlins do. They need to translate that energy into wins. Jackson ready. 2-1 pitch. Delayed steal and the throw down to second. Bonifacio steals it. He's on his way to third. You ask anyone around baseball and they will tell you they've never seen a guy who is an absolute speedster, which Bonifacio is, utilize the delayed steal like he has, with great success.
Phenomenal success, and it goes both ways. Carlos Lee and I were talking about this yesterday in the clubhouse. It's usually for slow guys like me, you know, they don't suspect you're going to run, so you kind of get your secondary lead and then take off. But for Bonifacio, it kind of plays in the same hand. If you're not going right away, they kind of relax and don't think that he's running, and then bam. I don't think I've ever seen him get thrown out of delay steal.
Well, he's at third now, and now you've got your runner in scoring position for Carlos Lee. The count's 3-1. Infield's back. Ground ball gives the Marlins a lead. And Lee takes a strike. On that fastball, he was on his way to first. 8 of 14. Major League average is just over 50%.
Saw last night Greg Dobbs finally failed. He was 8 of 8 going into last night's game, but couldn't do the job late in last night's game, so now he's 8 of 9.
3-2 coming. Lee, and it was right to Zimmerman, who lobs a throw across the diamond, and Bonifacio has to hold. Lee hit it hard, but to the only guy that was in close enough where Bonifacio had to hold.
Well, the third base coach will go up to the runner at third base with the infield playing back and say, listen, you're going on a ball up the middle. Make it clear the pitcher, and you got to hold at third base. And unfortunately, Carlos Lee hit it right to the third baseman. And Edwin Jackson knows that. As a pitcher, he knows those guys are playing back. He does not want to give up that earned run. So he's going to try to pitch him inside like he did the last 2 pitches and make him pull a ball right to third baseman.
Now here's Logan Morrison with Bonifacio at third. Jackson delivers and misses down low.
And this is where the Marlins have really struggled. Overall, they're struggling mightily with men in scoring position, hitting just 228, but with 2 outs, they're hitting just 201 as a team with men in scoring position.
This is something that Morrison did well last year, but has struggled with this year. I mean, last year his average was down, his on base percentage was down, but his production was up. He was able to come through in a lot of these spots with less than 2 outs with fly balls or ground balls, or with 2 outs with base hits.
He was getting a lot of productive outs last year, doing his job, getting the ball up the middle for a ground ball to score that guy from third base, sac flies, whatever it took.
Morrison last year in 123 games drove in 72 runs. He's driven in 36 so far this year. Jackson is working him carefully, and it's 3-0 with Hanley Ramirez on deck. Morrison, one of those guys that was hot going into the All-Star break, but after 4 days off, just 1 for 7 in this series. Gets the fastball, and it's 3-1.
Right-handers hitting a measly 210 off of Edwin Jackson. Lefties at 246. We haven't really seen that blazing fastball that we've been talking about yet. He's been mostly 91, 92 mile an hour range.
Three-on pitch is up, and Morrison walks. And here comes Hanley Ramirez. And so Edwin Jackson has thrown 21 pitches, but the Marlins have nothing to show for it yet, and that was the theme yesterday. The Marlins leaving 11. Hanley hit the ball hard a couple times yesterday with runners on. Remember, he lined to deep right center on the great catch by Harper. That was in the second. Then he hit the smash that Zimmerman spun around on, robbed him of a hit, and robbed the Marlins of a run, his second at bat. So here he is, Bonifacio and Morrison on the corners. Edwin Jackson. And his first pitch to Hanley Ramirez. It's up and in. In talking to some of the national folk about Edwin Jackson, one of the things they've seen is that it takes him a couple innings sometimes to settle into the game, as is evident from the 17 runs in the first inning and 16 starts.
Well, hopefully the Marlins knew that going in and knew that this is a great time to get Edwin Jackson, is put the pressure on him early and score as many as you can.
Hanley pulls a ground ball. Zimmerman again. That was almost the exact same ball Hanley hit yesterday. And the Marlins leave 2 on. And it continues for the Fish to the second. Scoreless. High Definition, brought to you by H.H. Gregg, Marlins Park. Scoreless ball game as we hit the Coventry Healthcare second inning. Zambrano to Michael Morse. Javi Vasquez will be joining us in the third inning. We'll get a perspective from a guy that finished his career as a Marlin, pitched many years for this Nationals organization, most of those years in Montreal. And of course, Vasquez, guy that pitched for Ozzie Guillen, and a guy that retired at the very top of his game.
Well, I was just going to say, arguably the best second half of any pitcher in the National League last year, maybe even more so. Probably from the middle of May on was probably the best pitcher in the National League. And I got the pleasure of calling a game with you up in Nationals Park when he absolutely dominated toward the end of the season. And he was just a pleasure to be around and very fun to watch.
Morse fouls it at the plate. Danny Espinosa and Roger Bernardina coming up for the Nationals. Morse on the disabled list to start things, coming off his monster year of last year. And Nova High School product. Local kid makes good, and it took a while for him to get really his chance in the big leagues. Morse swings and misses. Davey Johnson was talking about guys like Morse and Desmond. He said, you know, sometimes all you need is just an opportunity to play every day. And here is Espinosa. Espinosa, part of the talent wave that has come the Nationals' way from the awful seasons they had. 2008, they lost 102 games. 2009, they lost 103, lost 93 in 10. As a result of that, they were, if not picking first, Strasburg, Harper, they had high picks. That's a liner, and it's fair, and Espinosa can run. Into the corner goes Dobbs. Espinosa's digging around second, on his way to third, and he will get there. Danny Espinosa saw that Greg Dobbs went into the corner. The Nationals did a nice job of exploiting Dobbs yesterday. They ran a lot on him. Any ball into right field, they took the extra base. Any base hit, they were scoring from second all the way.
See, it was a slider kind of up down the middle of the plate. Espinosa does a great job of getting that barrel inside to put that ball down the line. And pretty much we've seen a lot of triples in that right field corner, regardless of who's standing out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now Bernardina. Corners in, middle back. Yesterday, the Nationals tried to squeeze with Bernardina at the plate, and he swung and missed at the pitch. He obviously missed the sign. Morse, thankful that he didn't make contact and line one down the line, was charging home and was easily tagged out. It's about the only thing the Nationals did wrong yesterday in a 4-0 win. And Zambrano has fallen behind 3-0, and that's one of the alarming things about Zambrano, and you brought it up, is that his control, it's not that he's just missing by a little, is that every now and then all of a sudden he's missing by a lot.
Yeah, you've seen some of the pitches that are in the strike zone. We saw an excellent sinker to Morse. We saw a great slider to Morse to strike him out, and then you see this at bat, and he's missing by so much the hitter doesn't even have to make a decision on whether or not to swing.
Now Jesus Flores, the catcher who is hitting 8th. The encouraging thing about Zambrano is that when he dials it back in, at times he can be unhittable.
The stuff is still there. You're right. The stuff is still there. But when he's having the control issues where the hitters don't even have to make a decision on whether to swing or not, I think a lot of guys think I'm just going to take until I get a strike.
A lot of what he and Randy St. Clair have worked on is Just the hand angle in the delivery, trying to keep the hand upright, 6 to 12 on the clock, rather than dipping to, say, 2 o'clock on the release. See, that's why we need Javi Vasquez up here. When he gets here, we'll ask him.
Well, you know, even though I'm a card-carrying member, I was a pitcher in college, you know, so I know a little bit about this stuff. Actually, not much.
Yeah, you were a pitcher in college, but they drafted you and turned you into a position player. That one fouled back.
That's what he's trying to say.
And out of play. I'm trying to say Guy Hansen was a very good judge of talent when he told the Royals, this guy can't pitch, but he can play racquetball, and I think he'll make a good hitter and a good position player.
Guy Hansen, if you're listening, thanks a lot.
58th round.
58. I laughed. I didn't think they went that high.
I didn't either. 1-2 pitch. Liner into right field. Dobbs comes on, makes the catch. Got a lot of speed. Coming home is Espinosa, and the throw not in time. So Flores drives in the run, and again the Nationals running on everything out there to right field. You can play catch with Logan Morrison. Register now at JiffyLubeCatch.com. It's your chance to go down onto the field at Marlins Park. 2 lucky winners will be selected, and you'll be down on the field playing catch with Logan Morrison. He'll show you how to run into a wall.
He does that. He's an expert.
On July 27th. Jiffy Lube is the official oil change of the Miami Marlins. Morrison, one of the top Marlin players when it comes to community involvement.
He does a lot. He really cares, and we saw him out there the other day getting his head shaved.
Ground ball short. Reyes gets the out, and the inning is over. But the Nationals are on the board first. They have a 1-0 lead in Miami tonight. Chicago. Yeah, the Cubs. Wrigley Field, always fun. After Chicago, where to next? Going to Pittsburgh. That's right. See Andrew McCutchen and Neil Walker and the rest of those Pittsburgh Pirates. Marlins live tomorrow at 7:30. Bottom of the second here in Miami. It's 1-0. Nationals on top. Edwin Jackson has been delivered a run yesterday. Steven Strasburg, along with 3 relievers, Ryan Matthews, Sean Burnett, and Tyler Clippard, would have made that lead hold up. They shut out the Marlins. Here's Greg Dobbs now. Dobbs, Omar Infante, and Brett Hayes.
It's already been presented to us, the exact same situation the Marlins had in the first inning. Man on third, with one out were unsuccessful in getting him home, but the Nationals found a way to do it. Sac fly to score him.
Dobbs against Jackson. And a strike. Dobbs getting the start in yesterday's ball game, and he had a couple of hits. He had his 11-game hit streak snapped, but hardly fair. It was on a pinch hitting appearance, though he had extended that hit streak a few times with pinch hits. There isn't a lot of at-bats for the Marlins against Edwin Jackson. Dobbs 0 for 3 in his career against him.
Still haven't seen the power fastball yet. Maybe he's just keeping that in reserve till later in the game. Used to see A.J. Burnett do that a few starts. He would come out throwing 91, 92 miles an hour. Everyone thought he was hurt. And in the ninth inning, he's throwing 99.
LaRoche backs up. Jackson's over. And the Nationals execute the 3-1 putout. On out here in the second. This copyright telecast is presented by the authority, the Miami Marlins. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
You still find yourself wanting to say Florida Marlins?
You know, there was a real concern going into the season, and Tommy Hutton shared it, and I'm sure you guys on the pregame show, that that would be an issue. For me, no, I have not dropped a Florida yet this year.
Wow.
The first month, though, I had a real hard time. Anytime a hard smash was hit to short, the first thing out of my mouth was Hanley. Because you're so used to seeing Hanley there. Here's the 1-1. That one pulled foul. But we've collected $1 for every one of those. And the other one was Giancarlo.
Yes, I've messed that one up a number of times.
One and two to Omar Infante. And Infante, a pitch up in his eyes at 96, and all of a sudden there's your power fastball.
There it is. Almost on cue. Start off this at bat with 2 94-mile-an-hour fastballs and missed with a 93, and 96 up top there is really difficult to get a bat on.
Let's see what Infante gets. 1 and 2. Fastball, and he hammers it left center field over for it, Bernardina, and he's there and makes the catch.
Pretty good swing by Omar. I think he caught a little bit off the end of the bat. That ball was kind of tailing away. And Bernardina, especially from our vantage point up here, you look at the ground he covers and how easily he does it. He's got some speed.
Well, he has a good combination of good first step and speed. There are guys that have great speed that don't have good first step, or guys that don't have speed but that great first step makes them a solid center fielder. I think Aaron Rowand was one of those guys instinctively. Jim Edmonds, maybe another one of those guys that was not an absolute burner, but ball off the bat, he's already in flight and is headed in the right direction. One of the best I've ever seen in the big leagues was Mike Cameron. Hayes at the plate with a count 1-1.
Two of the best I played against, unfortunately, got a lot of hits taken away, but Marquise Grissom, when he was in Montreal and Cleveland, was one of the best I'd seen. And of course, our little rival up in Atlanta had a pretty good guy named Andrew Jones. That
the early years.
took a lot of hits away.
And is still in the game. That's the amazing. Having watched Andruw Jones, say 3-4 years ago, if you would have said, you know, in 2012 he'll still be playing, because he declined pretty quickly, but he's been able to get it together and hang in there. Here's the 2-2. Hayes hits a one-hopper out to short. Espinoza fires to first, and Edwin Jackson has 2 scoreless innings in the book. Hey, remember this guy? He threw hard. He had a great year last year. Javi Vasquez joins us when we get back.
Es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Marlins Park 1-0 Nationals. It's the third, a guy that pitched for both the Nationals organization and, of course, the Marlins. Javier Vasquez joins us now. Javi, how are you?
I'm great, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how's the arm? You think that maybe if Ozzie needs you, you can go a few innings?
I could probably get somebody out. Just one guy.
Probably.
Are you enjoying life away from baseball? Because
I am.
Not many athletes, be it baseball, football, basketball, are able to walk away from their sport at the top of their game, and you certainly did that after the year you had last year.
I am, Rich. Having a lot of fun, doing some things that I wasn't able to do before, spending time with my wife and kids, and it's really been great.
Liner to left, Morrison is there, and he makes the catch. Was it an easy decision for you or a tough decision for you?
Well, it was something that I was thinking about for the last couple of years probably. And you know what? Before the season ended, I really thought that I had a good chance of stop playing this past year.
Well, you were 13-11 last year with a 3.69 ERA. You made 32 starts as Bryce Harper lines it foul. But the second half you had was incredible, and we've talked about it in relation to Ricky Nolasco, the talk that Randy St. Clair had with him about lower body. Relive that conversation that you had, because that transformed your entire season last year. Infante has it. We'll flip to first. There's 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. Remember when Randy called me, we were in New York playing the Mets. He called me in, watched some video, and he said, look at this. And he showed me a video when I was with Atlanta, and the other one when I was pitching, the way I was pitching there. And it was night and day. Really was not using my legs. And you know what? We tried it in the bullpen, started working out. And my first couple of games actually were really tough, even though I was throwing harder. I felt I was using my legs. But it took a couple games, 2 or 3 games, and to start feeling I'm better, and I did.
Ryan Zimmerman up a 1-0 Nationals lead in the top of the third. Rich Waltz, Jeff Conine, Javier Vasquez with us for a few innings.
Now you're training for the U.S. Open, right? Tennis championship? That's what I hear. You play tennis all the time.
No, not U.S. Open. I want to go to Wimbledon. No. I'm playing a lot of tennis, enjoying myself. Used to play a little bit when I was a kid, and now I have time to play it as much as I can.
And you live in Puerto Rico. I'm sure you watch a lot of baseball on the dish.
Yes, I do. That MLB package, it's coming in handy in that Xbox.
What teams do you follow? What teams do you watch?
Right now, I'm really following the Marlins.
That one's crushed. Left field and deep. And that's going up and gone into the Clevelander. Ryan Zimmerman, noted Marlin killer, has 2 hits, including his 10th homer of the season. And it's 2-0 Nationals. You faced Zimmerman. Could you get him out? Not many people wearing a Marlin uniform have been able to.
Well, really don't remember. Usually you gotta remind me what I did. But he's always been a really good hitter. He's a great hitter because he hits the ball the other way a ton. So you really have to pitch him carefully.
We've been talking about Carlos Zambrano and the struggles he's had. Not stuff-wise, really, just in the strike zone. And you saw right there, Brett Hayes sets up on the outside corner. The ball travels on the inside corner, and Zimmerman makes him pay.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, for you, was it more of a feel thing? I mean, when you start, your stuff is good, your arm feels good. Was it all about release point, and how did you get that feel back?
Well, I've always been a field pitcher. So I really I never really pay attention that much to my mechanics. Obviously, last year I did, the way I was struggling and what Randy told me and the way I worked. But for me, I've always been a field pitcher. I felt like I could repeat my mechanics pitch by pitch. But sometimes my main thing with me is like Carlos is doing. He's probably opening up his front side a little early, and that's why his ball keeps flying open, and I did that all the time.
Morrison calls for it. That's as animated as we've seen Zambrano all year long on the mound after giving up that home run to Zimmerman. 2-0 Nationals on top. For Javi Vasquez, final appearance in the big leagues. And man, what a finish. And it was against the Washington Nationals. 9 strikeouts, 97 pitches. Brian Peterson with a walk-off shot to get you a win. To finish that way had to be pretty special.
It was. And I was thrilled. I remember when Peter hit that bomb, I was probably the happiest guy in the world at that moment.
Yep, and it came against an organization that you started with, the Montreal Expos. Now, as a former Expo, you take pride in the fact that the Nationals are now a first-place team and look like a postseason team?
Well, I don't know about pride. I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. Obviously, you know, they're doing things right. They finally, you know, they moved from Montreal. Even though I love Montreal. Montreal was a great city. That's where I grew up, and you know, that's where I learned how to pitch in the big leagues. But you know, for me, being in Washington, I kind of feel like it's a different organization, even though it's the same.
Jackson misses outside to Carlos Zambrano. Davey Johnson managing the Nationals. Jackson's been a guy that many teams have gone after to get, trading deadline deals. Worked out for the Cardinals last year. Zambrano takes down low, and it's 2-1. Of course, Zambrano may be the most dangerous hitting pitcher. Has hit 1 home run this year. He's hit a home run every year he's been in the big leagues.
Yeah, I saw him taking BP on Saturday when I was here in the game, and I mean, it's amazing how hard he hits the ball. I mean, it really is for a pitcher, for any player, but for a pitcher even more.
Well, you weren't a bad hitter.
I was probably a punch and Judy. I got my base hits once in a while. And I got my bunts down.
And Zambrano's got a base hit. Carlos pulls one into the hole into right field. Now, we showed you Javi Vasquez walking off the mound in the rain. Here's the finish, and here's the reaction. Now, watch this.
Yes, indeed.
Like I told you, Rich, you know, I was so happy when Petty hit that bomb. Oh man, you don't even know.
Well, you did something that's very rare in professional sports. You made the decision to retire when you were still had years ahead of you that you could have pitched, which for a lot of guys can't make that decision. They can't get away from the game. But kudos to you to say, hey, you know what? I've had enough. I had a great run, and it's family time now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jeff, I've always said I've been blessed, you know, having a great career. I played 14 years in the big leagues, and it was great. Like you say, you know, it was great. I had a lot of fun. I had great teammates, great managers, and for me, it was time to give some time to my family. My kids are getting older. They need me. They really need me there. So.
All right, be honest with this, though. How many times did the phone ring over the offseason?
Well, I told my agent never to call, don't call me. But
don't call you with offers.
Don't call me with offers. But you know, personally, to me, I had a couple of calls from 2 GMs.
Liner into center field, and Reyes has a base hit, and the Marlins have a couple of hits to open up the bottom of the 3rd. Down 2-0 to the Nationals. Corona Light wants you to find your beach this summer, offering 31 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets and a $100 Marlins merchandise gift card. Visit your local participating Navarro pharmacy and look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Relax responsibly. All right, let's put you to work, Javi, since you're here and you've been watching the Marlins here both on television and in person. What do you see with this ball club right now?
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows they're struggling a little bit, but you know what? I think hopefully in the second half they'll start putting it all together, because they do have the talent. I mean, we see it. We do have the talent. Bonifacio's back, and they just needed to put it together. Hopefully they'll get Stanton back pretty soon.
Bonifacio shortens the bunt and bunts it foul, with Zimmerman charging. Marlins trying to push runners up. And with Bonifacio, you sometimes, when he does lay down a bunt in a sacrifice situation, he has enough speed to turn it into a base hit.
This is where the Marlins have really been struggling. They've had a number of innings lately. We've seen them get a couple of hits in an inning, but they can't get that 3rd hit to keep that line moving. And you saw the Nationals the other night. 3 consecutive hits in 2 innings. They scored 2 runs in both those innings.
And Jackson up with a fastball. 'Ozzie Guillen. guy that you played for in 2006 and in 2007. And for the Marlins, right now 4 games under, 42 and 46.
What's a pitcher's mentality on a guy that's trying to sacrifice bunt? I mean, what are you trying to do with the pitch?
I'm just trying to throw a strike. I mean, if a guy is showing me he's going to sack bunt, I'll go ahead and give me the out. And I mean, that's all you can do, really. Don't try to be too fine, unless you got 2 strikes. Then you try to, maybe throw a high foul to see if he bunts foul, or throw a trick pitch or curveball or something, But if he's showing me the bunt right away, I'm just trying to, lay one out there.
You wonder if you're Ozzie Guillen and it's 2 weeks ago and the Marlins are having trouble scoring runs, if Bonifacio bunts, because 2 weeks ago Carlos Lee wasn't in the 3 spot. Now you've got Carlos Lee, and so Guillen presents Lee with an opportunity, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, and Carlos, his whole career has been known to driving in runs, so hopefully getting Carlos will get the Marlins scoring some runs, because he's always been a great RBI guy.
Now he had Bonifacio at 3rd with 1 out in the 1st and hit a sharp smash to Zimmerman, and Bonifacio had to freeze and hold. Infield is back. Zimmerman not that deep at 3rd, and Lee takes in.
How about that play that Zimmerman made on the Bonifacio bunt? I mean, that guy, when he's in a situation where he's coming in a ball like that, I think he's one of the best in the National League at making that play. That is a difficult play, and he made it look easy.
Yeah, he's so good out there at 3rd base, man. I think he forced out one of the hitters the past inning with a diving catch. Great catch, too.
Yeah, and Hanley, he's done that too in the last couple nights. He's made those great backhand plays and gotten easy outs both times.
Yep. He seems to be more accurate when he's off balance. I don't know that you can say that about any other infielder, but Zimmerman is. Gold Glove, University of Virginia.
He got a Gold Glove at the University of Virginia? I didn't know they gave Gold Gloves in college.
I just didn't put a good enough pause or transition in there. Mr. UCLA.
This is good. I like the joking around in
There's
the booth.
That's what it's about. Zambrano
got to keep it light.
And Reyes with 1 out, and the Marlins down by 2. Lee waiting on the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. You and Edwin Jackson cross paths at all?
Not as teammates, no.
I was about to say he's pitched for what, 7 different teams, so
7 in 10 years. That's odd when you got a guy that has that much talent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's always had a great arm, and that's why keeps teams keep getting him at the deadline.
He's the Kevin Bacon of Major League pitchers. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Lee lines it into center field. That's a base hit. Zambrano scores. Right behind him is Reyes.
Look at this piece of hitting right here. Back-to-back breaking balls. Swung and missed on the one before. This ball was close to being something you'd see in a cricket game. It almost bounced. And he hits a line drive in the left center field. Look where this pitch ends up.
Wow.
Literally, it's almost on the Papa John's in the Fox track.
I think he gets a bonus for that. But he was you could see his thought process. He was thinking drive the ball middle where the infield's back.
What we saw last time up had the same situation, man on 3rd with 1 out. And Edwin Jackson's pounding him in. He wants him to pull that ball to the 3rd baseman because that's one of the only places he won't be able to score.
Exactly.
Now Morrison drives it to center. Bernardina's back, and he makes the catch.
That's Death Valley out there.
Oh. That's something that I would have enjoyed pitching here.
Yes, you would have. Take another look at that Carlos Lee swing. His hands, use his hands, get down there and get that ball. Like you said, he really wanted to focus on trying to keep that ball up the middle so he doesn't pull it, and he's able to get that RBI.
I know some people say that clutch hitting and RBIs are overvalued. But Carlos Lee is a guy that with runners in scoring position in his career, his batting average is a good 10, 11 points above his career batting average. So with a track record and a sample size that large, you can easily identify a guy who is a better hitter in the clutch or in a spot where he needs to drive in a run.
Well, I mean, I do believe that there's guys that are in the big leagues that you could say that, you know, especially like you said, when they've had a long career and you can see their batting average.
Hanley, left field, deep, gone! 2-run shot. 2-run lead. And boy, could the Marlins use his bat to come to life. And it does here tonight.
Boy, I got what I asked for. I said all about stringing some hits together. You got to get more than 2. And here we go.
You should do that more often.
This is a center cut fastball right here. Hanley Ramirez does not miss it. Hits it off the sculpture.
A Clevelander home run. And a dramatic change in this ball game. A 4-run inning. Here's Dobbs fouling a pitch back.
You know, the real reason I came to the game today was because I came Saturday and we won. So maybe I'm bringing a little luck. And I came today again.
So maybe a summer home in Miami for the family. Bring them up from Puerto Rico.
There's a flight leaving tonight for Chicago. I'm sure they'd love you to be on.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Dobbs. And it's outside.
Problem is, if you do that, they're going to give you a uniform.
And a bullpen side session on Tuesday.
No, I'm good. I'm supposed to play tennis pretty soon one of these days.
1-1 coming.
Speaking of tennis, have you and Mr. Waltz here butted heads yet?
Yeah,
on
we
the tennis court.
We did today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know, you missed the production meeting, Niner. It was at the Diplomat Country Club.
Exactly. That's when we were really setting this thing up.
I parked in Judge Smale's spot. Here's the 1-1.
And there's a lot of quietness here.
He beat me 6-3. Beat me 6-3. I told Rich that definitely want to be in his shape when I'm his age. Believe me, he's really good athlete.
And old. Just say it. Just say it. Dobbs.
I'll leave that to Niner.
Here's the 1-2 to Dobbs. And Jackson seems to be ruffled a bit. The count now 2-2.
But speaking of conditioning, I think you, as a pitcher, was considered one of the better conditioned athletes. I mean, that was obviously a big part of your regimen, and you find that was a big part of your success and longevity.
I definitely think so. I've always took a lot of pride in the way I prepared and the way I exercised in the off season and during the season, and yeah, for sure it helped my longevity, and it helped me being out there every 5 days.
Where'd you get that from? Was there a guy in Montreal early in your career, a pitching coach, somebody that you saw doing it, or was it just self-motivated?
Parent?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
A parent, maybe?
Well, obviously my dad always taught me to do everything the right way.
Dobbs, a one-hopper. See, Avi's picking up on this TV stuff. He lays out when the ball's in play. Very nice. Stick around.
That's right.
Stick around, Lucky Charm. Hanley Ramirez, a 2-run homer after a Carlos Lee 2-run single.
Hitters in the bottom of the third for the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez and Carlos Lee both driving in 2. It was in last night's game in the third inning. It was a big play, but I will tell you, Joe Espada, third base coach, told me today, no second guessing on this play here of his. Ozzie Guillen said, I might have given it a shot. It was on the Carlos Lee base hit, but Nolasco was on base, didn't get a good jump. He said, I want him to come hard to third, but then I make the decision whether I'm going to send him all the way, and he stopped him. Bernardina's got a great arm, charged the ball well. As it turned out, it was a high throw, but what Joe told me, a couple of things. One is, he said, Bo Porter, who used to coach here, plays a shallow defense. They got good arms and they play short, so they're going to come up charging and have a good chance to throw you out. He also said, I talked to Jose Reyes, he said today, and reminded him that although you would score in that play, as you see Michael Moore stumbling in the right field, remember the guy in front of you is Nolasco, and you can't run him down. The Marlins were fortunate not to have any other outs on that play. Reyes was nearly on third base on the play. But a lot of times, coaches will review plays the next day with the guys, go over it, and get set for tonight. Rich?
All right, thanks. That's one of those jobs, like an offensive lineman in football. The only time you get any publicity is when it doesn't work out.
Yep.
When you send someone and they're out, or you hold someone and the throw sails like that. Danny Espinosa's up, and guys, for Carlos Zambrano, certainly an enormous inning. His ball club has recouped the losses and given him a 4-2 lead.
And how important is that as a starting pitcher for your team when you know that they've battled back after being down and given you the lead? What's your mindset going back out there?
My mindset is, first of all, getting that first hitter out, because that dictates how everything else is going to go, you know. And, when I'm out there, I feel like when my teammates gave me some runs, especially when I'm behind and gave me the lead, you just try to put a 0 down there, because you can see the body language of your teammates sometimes when you give up a hit or another hit after they score some runs, and you can feel sometimes that they're like, come on, try to shut down.
Let down.
Exactly, and it's, for me, it's one of the things that is really important as a starting pitcher to right away when they score, when we score, try not to let the team score.
You've got Zambrano here, who at times has labored in this ball game. He gave up a run in the second after the triple by Espinosa, and then the home run to Zimmerman in the third. And now steps off. Correct me if I'm wrong, but watching Zambrano after the Zimmerman home run storm around the mound, it looked like Chicago Cub Carlos Zambrano, and not the calm, cool, collected Zambrano we've seen here for 3 months. Well, I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just an observation.
Well, I mean, I think he's doing a good job of leaving all the stuff he did with the Cubs behind him. But obviously, you know what? I've always kind of liked his fury, on the mound and all that. You don't want to do the other stuff, obviously in the dugout and all in the fighting. I know he knows that's not right, but he's always been really competitive, and it's tough to take that away from him.
Couple base hits, neither of them hit hard into right field. Here comes Bernardina, and here comes trivia, our AT&T trivia question. We flip the phone. Nevada natives. Who's played the most major league games all time? Who was born in Nevada? Bryce Harper is a Las Vegas native. That's a good question. You don't have a lot of people in Las Vegas outside of, or a lot of people in Nevada outside of Las Vegas and the Reno area. Niner, you were a Southern California guy. I was a Northern California guy, and neither of us have any clue.
No clue.
Bernardina, I don't even know.
I know Greg
the
Maddux
Maddux
lived.
The Maddux brothers.
Vegas. I don't know if they were born there, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know Giambi lives out there, but I don't know if he's right.
Yeah. Oh. The
you.
crack staff will give you a quick denied sound.
Give us an era. Modern day player, decade. 95-03.
That's you and me, Niner.
Yeah.
95-03. What position did he play? We've been given.
They're reluctantly giving up information.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Outfielder, we're told. Now Morrison Espinosa with base hits. Bernardina was thinking about bunting. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Now he's swinging. That might be 2. Infante, the shovel, and Reyes' relay is in time.
He does this play as well as anybody I've seen, including Roberto Alomar. He was a master at this backhand flip. He can get rid of the ball so quickly on this double play, and he's got to cover some distance with that too.
Yeah, he worked so hard at that, and you see him during BP. You know, you say Roberto Alomar. It's funny when I was growing up, my first few years in professional baseball, we were playing winter ball against Robbie Alomar's team. I think it was San Juan back then. Do it again.
Oh, look at you. Look at you, Javi Vasquez. Reyes makes the play. And a nice escape by Zambrano. It is 4-2 Fish. Brett Hayes played at Nevada, though he was not a Nevada native, and he was mic'd up the other day, and he happened to run into a young Javi Vasquez. Here it is.
You gotta do me a favor. I'll give you $20. You talk your dad into playing again. 50. I'll give you $50. $100. I'll give you $100. Talk his dad into playing again.
He didn't bite. He's up in the booth.
That look was priceless.
Oh boy, buddy. I taught him well.
See that look? He's like.
He likes having dad home.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Javi Vasquez has joined us. The Marlins have a 4-2 lead over the Nationals. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine. Tommy Hutton returns tomorrow, and he returns on an email Twitter Tuesday from Wrigley Field. So lots of fun tomorrow night. Good time so far tonight for the Marlins. Hanley Ramirez lit up the home run sculpture. Zimmerman goes up to get it and has that funky throw to first. We've seen his throwing motion in this series all over the place, all different angles. I know that he's battled some injuries, but at the same time, I think he's also battling a little bit of trying to refine his groove.
Yeah.
And when Fonte bounces out, and here is Hayes. The trivia question is Nevada natives, all-time hit leaders. Is that what you're looking for again? Oh, games played by Nevada natives. We talked about the Maddox brothers. No.
I'll let you know, right?
Well, they said it was 95 to 03.
95-03.
Would there be somebody on the Rockies, maybe? Okay. Negative.
One pitch.
Somebody on the Twins. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
All right, Twins. Let's see, 95-03 outfielder Matt Lawton.
Good guess.
Was a good guess.
Marty Cordova.
Oh,
There it is.
yes.
Marty, yes, I played with Marty.
Very nice.
Oh. That's terrible. I played with Marty. I knew he lived in
Look at
Vegas.
this.
Look at that. You
This
see
guy-
that?
Impressive.
See, he retires and he walks into the booth 4 runs later, answers the trivia question. And Marty Cordova is the answer. 952 games. Cordova also played for Toronto, Cleveland, and Baltimore.
That's right. I played with him. Baltimore.
Very nice. Bryce Harper now 15th on that list. Edwin Jackson gets a strike and it counts 3-2. Marty Cordova was a strong guy, and many felt may have gotten too strong. Was heavy into the weights. Here's the 3-2. It's lined into right center field. Hayes runs well around first. Bernardina gets there and cuts it off, and Brett Hayes has a base hit. All right, what do you do here with Zambrano? Good hitting pitcher. You bunt. You let him swing away. I know we've seen Ozzie and Zambrano a couple times this year square, pull back, but then you got a chance at a double play.
I say with the way he pulls the ball and with the first baseman holding the runner on, I say let him swing away. He hit that hole last time up.
But we'll see. Outfield shades him to left. I'm real surprised that the outfield is as shallow as they are for Zambrano.
Yeah, I was taking a look at Bernardina, and I think they just told him to move back a little bit.
Remember earlier in the year, Ozzie had to pull Zambrano out of batting practice because he tweaked his back, taking those mighty rips.
After watching him taking BP on Saturday,
My back hurt.
I believe that he could hurt his back swing.
He squares here, and he lays it down. I like that. He gave him one shot,
Perfect bunt. Good hustle.
and he's out at first. He gave one shot to swing away. Didn't work out. All right, bunt. And Zambrano executes. Nicely done. And now Hayes is in scoring position for Reyes.
Great job deadening the baseball.
Yeah.
Didn't want it to hit it too hard, and he hustles down to first base. He's got some pretty good wheels for a big guy.
Yeah, he does. He's a good athlete.
He has a little less weight on those wheels this year, many feel, as opposed to the last couple of years.
I thought so after saw him late in spring, and I thought he's lost some pounds.
On the ground, that one crawls up the arm of Lombardozzi, and he gets it, fires to first. You got another inning in you? I mean, if I came to the mound and said, Javi, can you give us one more?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I'll always say I got one more, even though I don't.
Sports Florida is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun. At Nissan Summer Saving Days, visit ChooseNissan.com. And by Sagicor. Plan a bright financial future today at SagicorLifeUSA.com. Downtown Miami, that's where we are tonight. Subway 5th, 4-2. Marlins on top of the Nationals. Marlins have a big inning, and they got it in the third. A 2-run single by Carlos Lee and a 2-run homer by Hanley Ramirez. And now Carlos Zambrano, who made that lead hold up by getting through the fourth. That noise you just heard, I believe, is thunder outside. And it's a good thing that we have a roof. We showed the shot of Javier Vasquez's last start last year as he finished in the rain. Zambrano with a 1-0 pitch to Edwin Jackson. What do you think of the ballpark?
Oh, it's beautiful. Came here the exhibition game against the Yankees early, and wow, I mean, the restaurant's not too bad either down there.
You've been to the Cleveland?
No, I'm talking about the one there at the Diamond Club. Yeah.
See, Jeff and I aspire to get to the Clevelander. You're already in the Diamond Club. And this is something that is, as a pitcher, when you're facing Edwin Jackson and you know that he's not a hitter, why? And we talked about it the other day, Niner. It's the 3-foot putt. It's the free throw. Shooting the technical foul when no one's at the lane. Why is it so hard to throw strikes to a pitcher?
I don't know why, but I tell you something. It's sometimes I did the same thing. I'm out there and I'm throwing a good game. I get the 7th, 8th guy, and then the hitter comes in and I start ball 1, ball 2. The pitcher should be out. And you want, okay, here you go, throw a strike, and you're thinking about throwing a strike, and then you start ball 1. And you're like, okay, you can't walk the pitcher. You can't walk the pitcher. You keep throwing and throwing. And for me, it's easier to throw to the other 8th than the pitcher. I don't know why is that.
And it seems like it's universal across the game. It's not just you and Zambrano. I mean, it's everybody. You talk to pitchers about that, and we saw it last night. The matchup yesterday, Nolasco and Strasburg, both guys had trouble pitching to each other. Nolasco had a hit. Strasburg had a big hit in the ball game. 0-2.
Is it because you've been ingrained from such an early age that it's the cardinal sin to walk the pitcher? You cannot walk the pitcher.
Probably. I mean, probably. I mean, it's sometimes for me. Sometimes I come in one day and for me it's easy. Okay, let's go at it, and then comes another day and it's tough.
Jackson's at first. 0-2 pitch. Little ground ball wide of third. And the count stays at 0-2. The Nationals, with the win yesterday, continue to stay on top in the East. But the Braves just won't lose. Atlanta, having won 7 in a row. Our Tico standings, the People's Gas, in case you didn't know. Oh, 2 in the air to center. Bonifacio is back, and he makes the catch. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you, Rich. Bryce Harper coming up to the plate. He will always have to thank Giancarlo Stanton for making the All-Star team as a teenager. It was Stanton's injury that opened up a spot. Harper wound up getting that spot, becoming only the 3rd teenager ever to make an All-Star team, and the only non-pitcher. Bob Feller in 1938 warmed up. The 8-time All-Star did not pitch in that game. Dwight Gooden struck out the side in the 5th inning on that year that he had 276 strikeouts. And now Harper, at the age of 19, the only non-pitcher, 0 for 1 on a walk. But thanks to Stanton's injury, he got a chance to get in the big game. Although I think many of us feel that if you only have one player, maybe the player from that team should replace you. But good for Harper. Got to the game. He'll probably be going a few more times.
One of 4 Nationals, Craig, that was named to the ball club. And remember, Ian Desmond, a first-time All-Star chose to not play, and we've seen Desmond not play the last couple of nights because of the injury that he was nursing. 2-0 pitch, and Harper lines it foul and out of play.
Yeah, I think you could tell in the swings that Desmond was taking, he was not comfortable. He was not taking that aggressive swing that we saw earlier in the season.
You can still hear the thunder, and you can really hear the rain on the roof right now at Marlins Park. Line drive, Reyes, quick throw to first. Out! Double play. How about that? Jose Reyes getting Edwin Jackson. Third double play, and the second time the Nationals have lined into a double play tonight. A foolproof stat. Steve Lombardozzi extending a hit streak to 8 games yesterday. Lombardozzi in the ball game today is 0 for 3. Nationals count on him. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Marlins Park safe from the thunder and rain outside. Here's that bang, and the Marlins look like I got the benefit of the doubt. Edwin Jackson put up a little bit of a fuss, but figured he has to get back to work. And so Jackson here in the bottom of the 5th in a 4-2 game. A 2-run Hanley Ramirez homer, a 2-run Carlos Lee single. All that coming in the 3rd inning. All of that coming when Javier Vasquez arrived in the broadcast booth. Duly noted. And here's Emilio Bonifacio, Carlos Lee, and Logan Morrison.
So what are you trying to tell me? I should take the rest of the night off, Rich?
And no, you've done just fine, man.
I tell you what, on that last play, Jose Reyes might be one of a couple shortstops in the league that make that play happen.
And maybe a Rafael Furcal.
Yep.
Guys that can flat-footed make that dart across the infield. Bonifacio, a push bunt, and it's right back to Jackson. All right, Javi, we've tried it as much as we can to get you back to, you know, Niner actually has a contract in his bag.
Oh, yeah?
That he wants you to sign.
Let me see it.
We've been told.
Let me find it. I'll be right with you.
We get the fact that you're not coming back, but will you stay in the game? Will you consider down the road coaching? Obviously down in Puerto Rico, the World Baseball Classic is coming up, stuff like that. How are you going to stay in the game?
Well, I don't think I'm going to stay in the game here in the States, coaching or anything like that, because that's why basically I stopped playing, just to spend time with my family in Puerto Rico. I know the World Baseball Classic is coming up, and I'm thinking about playing. Don't know for sure yet if I am, but it's something that intrigues me. Obviously, Puerto Rico doesn't have a lot of pitching, so
They have a lot of catching.
yes, they do. They do have a lot
They
of that.
count on the Molinas for that.
Exactly. But I'm thinking about it. It just depends if I have the desire, the desire to go back and start, throwing and getting ready and prepare for.
Because it's not just a thing where you're going to pick up a ball and do a couple. There's a few months worth of training that has to go into that.
Exactly, and people, some people understand, think I'm going to go out there and just, okay, give me the ball, I'm going to throw,
Just like that throw I made the other night.
Exactly.
I had at least 2 long toss sessions before I made that.
Which, by the way, you did a great job at it, okay, buddy? And I'm sorry for doubting you just a little bit.
I don't know if you know the backstory here, Rich, but David Sampson, our team president, bet me that I wouldn't make the throw. He told me I was not even going to be within the dirt. And Mr. Vasquez here,
did he put the money
sided with Mr. Sampson? That stung. I mean, that stung.
Well, and truth be told, when Pudge came up to join us in the broadcast booth, Pudge said, "You know what, Jeff? That was a better throw than 2003, up the middle." And I'm going to believe Pudge on that, even though it wasn't a one-hop strike, a nice 2-hop strike.
You know what? My thinking was that, when you're in the game, you're not thinking about making the throw. But now he's thinking about it. Look at, he's thinking about it. He's preparing himself to get that throw there. And look at that. I mean, that was a perfect 2-hopper, man. I was really impressed.
I think JT Snow was out again.
I think it was.
A little more trajectory. God, I needed about 3 more degrees, and it would have been right on the money.
A couple more days extra of long throwing, and he would have done it.
So Carlos Lee is out. Here's Logan Morrison. And Morrison takes a strike. So, World Baseball Classic, we might see you back in uniform. That's exciting stuff.
I might.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Now, there's a good possibility that the second round or later of the World Baseball Classic might be here in Marlins Park.
Yep. It's been here for the other 2 World Classic, right?
Pretty natural place to have the World Baseball Classic.
Absolutely, especially with the Caribbean countries around.
Yep. It's a perfect place. You're close to everything right here.
Here's the 1-1 pitch to Morrison. Lomo fouls it back and out of play. Edwin Rodriguez managing that. Who's managing the Puerto Rican team?
He is managing. Edwin is managing, and
good for him.
Yeah. He's obviously really well respected throughout the game in Puerto Rico, and he's getting that chance this year.
One-two coming to Morrison. Got jammed. Dumps it into center. Bernardina gets it. Javi Vasquez, thanks for stopping by. And
Thank you, Rich.
A nice job.
Thank you, Niner.
Enjoy retirement. And maybe we will see you on the World Baseball Classic next year.
Thank you.
All right, Javier Vasquez, everybody. Marlins watch party is coming up on Wednesday, July 18th at Hooters in Coral Gables. See the Marlins against the Cubs at 8:05. Win prizes, meet Billy and the Energy team, and take advantage of Corona Light specials throughout the game. So Wednesday night at Hooters in Coral Gables. You saw the shot outside of Marlins Park. It's absolutely pouring outside. We've heard it on the roof. We've heard the thunder outside Marlins Park.
You know what, though? We're high and dry in here.
Very comfortable. Well, you and I are high and dry, and Javi's headed back to the Diamond Club.
He's got a better plan than we do.
Yeah. You talk about a guy going out in style. I had forgotten all about his last start.
Yeah, so had I. Wow.
97 pitches. Our crack staff, our producer John Sulzer on it. The complete game, and then a walk-off by Brian Peterson.
I mean, how much better a script can you write than that?
I remember that. I mean, I had forgotten that that was his last start. But now that I saw the highlight, I can remember Tommy and I talking after the game about if that is the last start for Javi Vasquez, because there was still a question whether he was going to come back or not. What a finish it would be. Zimmerman to right. Back goes Dobbs. Got turned around, and it's over his head, and it's off the wall. And Zimmerman races in with a double. In defense of Greg Dobbs, he is not an experienced outfielder. He's a guy that came up as a shortstop, then a corner infielder, third baseman for most of his major league career. And Zimmerman is a triple shy of the cycle.
In probably the best triples ballpark in the National League.
It's true.
It was, you know, just watching Javi go about his business last year, the way he would work out and watch him prepare on game days. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of guys around the big leagues that were a teammate of Javi's that would put them in their top 3 teammates that ever had on any of their teams.
Jesus Guzman, by the way, last cycled for the Nationals in 2008. Christian Guzman, excuse me. Christian Guzman, the former Minnesota Twin. Speaking of Marty Cordova.
Speaking of Marty, former teammate of mine.
Adam LaRoche is up. He's lined out. He's flied out. Infield has shifted around for LaRoche. And he pulls that one off his foot. It's a foul ball. And it's 1-2.
After getting the 4-run inning by the Marlins, you know, we talked about the shutdown innings, which he's had a couple of those, especially the one right after you score is so important. But he's been in some trouble and gotten out of it with a couple double plays that have really helped the Marlins in this game.
Zambrano misses away. Counts 2-2. Pitch count. Zambrano's at 77. Jackson's at 82. Atlanta, as we told you, has won 7 in a row, and the Braves 3 games behind the Nationals. And a swing and a miss. Zambrano gets the strikeout. Atlanta is not playing tonight. The Phillies are in Los Angeles to face the Dodgers, and that I'm sure has stoked the Cole Hamels trade talks extensively while the Phillies are in Los Angeles. Hamels, a San Diego native, and the Dodgers have fallen into some money, so to speak, with the new ownership and the new cable deal. Here's Morse. Phillies have reportedly made a sizable offer to keep Hamels. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks. And I think interesting because the rules have changed. That everything's a little different from trading deadlines in the past. You've got an extra wild card team. So you got a few more teams that feel they're in it. And you have the new rule where a team that acquires a big name guy, say the Rangers trade for Hamels. Roller up the middle into center field. It's a base hit. Bonifacio is on it. And Zimmerman's coming around, and he's going to score. And it's a one-run game now, 4-3. Michael Morse, couple hits.
See Brett Hayes set up away again there, and the fastball runs back over the middle of the plate. Very hittable pitch for Morse.
Morse is at first, and now Randy St. Clair is on his way out to talk to Zambrano. Morse with 2 hits, and the guy coming up, Danny Espinosa, has 2 hits, a triple and a single. Anyway, say that the Rangers want to trade for Hamels for just a 2-month rental, a CC Sabathia type deal. The new rule is that the team that gets that type A player and then loses him to free agency doesn't get the compensatory draft picks as they have in the past. Which means the team that is trading that star player for the rental might not get as much because the value is diminished in that you don't get those draft picks.
And that's a big deal. I think a lot of the GMs and a lot of teams would go ahead and make those trades knowing that they get those draft picks as compensation and they can restock their farm system.
Right, because if you give up prospects to get somebody for 2 months, well, the best way to get those prospects back is to draft them with those high picks. Espinosa fouls it at the plate, and it's 0-1. Other news around baseball for the Cincinnati Reds. You see Tom Gorzelani up. Joey Votto will have surgery to repair a torn cartilage in his left knee, out 3 to 4 weeks. He hurt his knee in San Francisco but has played on it since. Arthroscopic surgery for Votto.
That's a big blow to that Cincinnati Reds lineup. Joey Votto, a former MVP, just signed a monster contract extension earlier this season.
Red Sox activated Carl Crawford.
Just saw he was 1 for 3 with a run scored.
Liner to left. Morrison after it, reaches, and it's over his head, and it's off the wall. Morse headed for third, and he'll be stopped there. 2 balls that have eluded Marlin outfielders. The ball over Dobbs' head, and now the ball over Morrison's head. And with 1 out, Zambrano's in hot water, and you've got Zimmerman, who is a triple shy of the cycle. You've got Espinosa, who's a homer shy of the cycle. He gets the double here.
Well struck by Espinosa. One of the tougher balls you're going to see or to catch in the outfield is kind of the slicing line drive going away from you. Greg Dobbs more was right over his head, slicing right at the very end.
Now Bernardina. So there's 1 out, and Zambrano, the lead down to 1.
Marlins putting the corners in at first and third, hoping that he'll pull one to first or slice one to third, and then get that runner at home plate. If he hits a ground ball up the middle, they'll take the out for the run.
Ball and a strike. Outside, and it's 2-1. Wade LeBlanc in the bullpen. Zambrano has struck out 2. He's walked 3. And he gets a strike there. on a pitch in the dirt. Michael Morse delivered a run. Danny Espinosa followed with the double. And in the 6th, it's a 1-run game, and Zambrano needs a strikeout. 93 miles an hour on a running two-seamer.
How about Kevin Youkilis in his return to Fenway Park, going 3 for 3?
Three-two coming in the dirt. Bags are loaded. Here comes Flores. And now Zambrano needs another double play. He already has 3 of them. 2 have been line drive double plays. Well, Bobby Valentine yesterday injecting himself into the Kevin Youkilis returns to Fenway talk, pointing the finger at Youkilis and saying that the miscommunication or the disagreements between Youkilis and Valentine, a lot of the blame rests on Youkilis. And Youkilis, apparently before the ball game tonight, avoided all talk about that.
Good for him. It's got to be put to rest at some point.
Zambrano to the plate. Well, to get a double play, you got to throw strikes. And right now, Zambrano is not doing that. Flores, a sacrifice fly and a bouncer to short. Just missed.
Yeah, when you're all over the strike zone like Zambrano's been, if you're close most of the game, the umpire might give you the benefit of that doubt and really give you that close pitch. But after throwing the ball so far out of the zone, and you do throw that one close pitch, you're not as apt to get it if you were more around the plate.
That one really ran in on Flores. And you can see pitch 2 was out of the strike zone. DJ Rayburn's had a nice game behind the plate. Counts 2-1. Ground ball. Reyes has it. Flip there. Double play. Lee holds on. 4th double play. Zambrano escapes.
Houdini.
Big Z hangs on to the lead by the thinnest of margins. It's wet out there. There's the production truck. That's the home of the cracked staff. Come on in, out of the rain, into the truck. And there they are, hard at work, high and dry. Jim Hawley there, nearest to you. John Sulcer. Ken Lee on the back bench as well. Bill Wadlick producing the numbers on the Fox box. JM Lexus game reset. 4-3, Miami on top. Ryan Zimmerman has had a big night. The Marlins have turned 4 double plays, although that's a bit deceptive. They've actually turned 2. The others have been line drives that have turned into double plays. Now, Jose Reyes has been a nice addition. Lil Jose, his alter ego. Some people go to the beach for the All-Star break. He went to Russia for the All-Star break. And where's the... I'm sure he had to run into some babushka dolls. You know, those little dolls that stack up?
Nesting dolls. That's what they're called.
There they
dolls.
are. Look at the smile on Lil Jose. Look at all the ladies. They're all following Lil Jose. A lot of them. Reyes and the Marlins tonight on top. Reyes has a single. The big hits. Hanley Ramirez a 2-run homer. Carlos Lee a 2-run single. And here's Hanley, who bounced one off the home run sculpture in left field. And yes, it went off. Our Warren Henry drive of the game. Here it is.
And he knew it.
It's our Warren Henry drive of the game. 1-0. Edwin Jackson misses away. Much has been made about Hanley Ramirez, the leg kick, the hands. Are they too high? Are they too involved? The challenge is to simplify the swing.
It is, and you see Hanley's leg kick, and I'm not concerned about the leg kick itself. It's when this front foot gets down. Is it down early enough to where you can recognize the pitch? You see how early that was down? The ball was not even in the picture yet, but he was able to recognize that pitch, move his hands in, and square up that baseball.
That swing there was the leg down late.
Normally when you see a guy with a high leg kick swinging at balls like that out of the strike zone, yes, it is getting down late, and it's almost your body's like panicking because I got to get my hands to the ball.
Because the pitch he hit was a fastball that was mid-90s. That was an 83-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Just like that one.
Exactly the same pitch.
It's 3-2.
And pitchers will do that if they think that a hitter will go after one. They'll try it again and might go after or throw the exact same pitch.
Breaking ball. He did not swing, and Hanley trots down to first. Davey Johnson on his way out, and with his bullpen up and ready in a 1-run game, the skipper of the Nationals is going there. Edwin Jackson at 88 pitches looked a little bit surprised to see Jackson on his way out to the mound, but the Nationals bullpen is deep and it is really, really good. Tom Gorzolani, former Pirate, coming in now. For the Nationals, Marlins here in the bottom of the 6th have a runner on, Hanley Ramirez. Saturday, August 4th, Jeff Conine will be locked in front of his television because UFC returns to Fox 4 massive fights. We told you about Brandon Vera and Shogun Rua, Yoto Machida, and rising star Ryan Bader. It's August 4th, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. All right, here is Gorzelany. Gorzelany, a guy that was a starter early in his career with the Pirates. And with the Nationals has found a home. Another talented reliever. Though his ERA not as slender as most, he's kind of been a swing guy on short starts when they need a guy to give him multiple innings.
And with the way the Washington Nationals bullpen has been throwing this year, they haven't had to use them very often.
Oh, the rotation generally gives them 6, 7, 8 pretty good innings. And Davey Johnson has got a variety of really good short guys out there that he mixes and matches with. Dobbs now has bounced out twice. You got Hanley at first with good speed. And Gorzelany with a decent move. The running game for Hanley has been on hold. A couple stolen bases this month of July. He didn't run much at all in June. Despite the loss of Bonifacio, Dobbs takes down low. The Marlins still are the stolen base leaders. '87 stolen bases. They lead the majors. San Diego 76 is next. Bonifacio swiped his 22nd tonight. Marlins bullpen active. Nationals bullpen is in the game. Remember, you've got Zambrano 3 hitters away.
Yeah, despite Bonifacio missing almost 40 games, he's still 4th in the league with 22 stolen bases.
No, give
Gordon
him,
from LA has got 30.
Yeah, give him 3 weeks, and I think he'll be back on top. Dobbs pops up the bunt. And Hanley's still at first. Dobbs not real pleased with himself. Here's the ironic thing about the Cubs series, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but it bears mentioning. Carlos Zambrano won't pitch in Chicago against the Cubs, though I'm sure it'll be an interesting homecoming for him. He did not leave the Cubs during the season last year on great terms.
I was going to say, what kind of reception do you think he would have received if he was pitching in Chicago? I'm gonna venture to guess not great.
I don't know. You know, he's a guy that, I mean, if you look at Zambrano's career as a Cub, 125 and 81, multiple All-Stars, 3 times a top 5 Cy Young candidate. He had a no-hitter. So there were a lot of good things that happened for Zambrano in Chicago.
Yes, there were.
I'll be interested to see the reception, and I feel a little more confident giving this opinion that Ozzie Guillen receives going back to Wrigley Field, because as a White Sox manager and of course a World Series champion with the Chicago White Sox,
and a bitter crosstown rival when they do play interleague play.
Ozzie was never, and he never has been one to hold back his opinion, and his opinion of Wrigley Field was never really flattering. So that's That should make for a fun email and Twitter Tuesday tomorrow night.
Yes, it will. I'll be tuning in from London.
London. 1-1 to Infante. And he fouls it back and out of play. While Zambrano won't be pitching, Mark Burley will get to appear in a town in which he is very much loved, although Cub fans might not be too affectionate. White Sox fans certainly grew to love the lefty. A perfect game and a no-hitter, and part of that World Series rotation.
What's not to love? 11 seasons, 200+ innings. One of the more steady starting pitchers you're going to find in all the major leagues.
Then you've got Hanley Ramirez, who always seems to hit well against the National League Central for whatever reason. Hanley is running, got a good jump, pitch taken down low, and he stole it. It looks like the running game is coming back for Hanley. That's his 3rd stolen base this month, his 13th on the season.
Great jump. See him peek in right there just to make sure, see if the ball's put in play. You're always taught to peek in as you're running down there to see if there's a pop fly or a line drive. You'll be able to get back to first base.
Two, strike 3 called. Infante caught looking. Gorzelani brings a fastball in the outside corner. It's up to Brett Hayes now. Justin Ruggiano has stepped on deck. So Zambrano's night may depend on what happens with Hayes here at the plate.
Brett Hayes was using this bat he's using in batting practice. It's one of Carlos Zambrano's bats. It is 35.5 inches long and weighs 34 ounces. So it was almost an experiment during batting practice to, you usually use a heavier bat like that to get your hands going a little bit. And he said he's never used a more than 32-ounce bat in a game. So I was telling him that, I always used a heavier bat in my career. I thought that you got better wood. The ball jumped off of it better than a lighter bat. And just not think about it and use it. And he swung the bat very well tonight, hit 2 balls very hard with that base hit to right center.
Sharp ground ball to short, and the base hit back in the 4th. Counts 0-2.
One's got a bat which kind of started my usage of the heavier, longer bat was back in '94. I got a bat from Kevin Mitchell. It was 36 inches, 36 ounces. And I actually used it in a game.
Boogie Bear.
Greg Colburn and I used the same bat in the game. It was like Little League. I struck out my first at bat and I just handed it to him on his way to the plate.
0-2 pitch. And it's outside. Alfonso Soriano, I think, had been using one of the heaviest bats in baseball, though this year he's gone down an ounce or 2 at the suggestion of his coaches in Chicago. That's really one of the things equipment-wise in the game, even though players still use wood bats like they did when the game started. The size of the bat, the cut of the bat, much more tailored now for bat head speed, thinner handles, lighter weights. One of the first big sluggers to do that was Mark McGwire.
I always thought Barry Bonds used a really big bat because you saw him choke up quite a bit at the plate, but he used a 34-inch, 32-ounce bat.
Hayes swings and misses. Gorzelani with a changeup in the dirt. Hanley's left at second. Through 6, 4-3 Marlins. Washington. Time for our Toyota trend. The Nationals have led or shared the lead in the East for 92 of 102 days this season. And even though they're riding high right now, they can't run away from the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have rebuilt their record with that 7-game win streak. Are 10 over and 3 back. Justin Ruggiano, as part of a double switch, comes in as in right field. And Ruggiano will be in the 9 spot. You know, both managers have gone to lefties who have been starters in their career. And so you've got guys that can give you multiple innings. Wade LeBlanc
did an outstanding job since his recall from New Orleans. Spring training, you know, it was an acquisition in the offseason from the San Diego Padres, and he was phenomenal in spring training. I remember thinking that he was a great candidate for maybe a 5th starting position.
It was the John Baker trade, and LeBlanc comes custom fit with that left-hander's changeup. Mark DeRosa, the veteran, getting in at bat here. LeBlanc misses in. It's 2-0. DeRosa on that Nationals bench. Jason Worth talking to Davey Johnson before the ball game. It is hoped will return around August 1st.
You talk about the Nationals being in first place 92 days out of 105. You know, Davey Johnson managed the Baltimore Orioles in 1997. They went wire to wire.
I asked Davey before the ball game, of all the teams that he's managed in the big leagues, and there's been different ones and lots of them, what team that he has managed reminds him of this year's team, this Nationals team. And he said that young Mets team that he managed, because he talks about Strasburg and Harper. He had Strawberry and Gooden. They're very similar because he was in the Mets organization and saw the draft picks and the young talent getting to the big leagues, just like he was in the Nationals organization as a consultant. He coached or managed, if you will, Strasburg on the Olympic team, had Harper on a national team as well. The 15 and under team, I think Davey did some work with. There's Lombardozzi. He takes down low. So that was an interesting comparison. And if the ending is the same as it was in New York, that one hit hard to left. Morrison over, and he makes a tumbling try, but drops the ball. And Lombardozzi is aboard. His first hit, Morrison got there, but just couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah, you saw a lot of white there coming as he was about to hit the ground. Wasn't quite in the web like he'd want it to be, and as soon as it hit the ground, which in baseball, the ground can cause a fumble. Unfortunately.
Yes, it can. By rule, an outfielder has to complete the catch. Randy St. Clair he and Wade LeBlanc talking it over. So LeBlanc has got Lombardozzi at first, and now here is Harper. Ozzie Guillen has hung the reading glasses up. Harper has bounced out, and he is lined into a double play. Pulls that one on the ground. Ooh,
Jeez.
a wicked hop, and El Caballo almost took it in the chops.
Ooh. The front page of the papers, I believe it was Sun Sentinel, had a picture of that ball that almost hit Omar Infante in the face last night. And it was scary close to hitting him in the jaw.
It was a great picture because it was a side view and all you saw was the ball, and it looked like it was affixed to the cheek of Infante.
Yeah, it was. That would have been awful.
Harper fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Another foul ball. 0-2. Zimmerman's on deck. And of course, Zimmerman, as usual, is clobbering the fish. He's 3 for 3, a single homer double.
As you mentioned, Christian Guzman was the last cycle for the Washington Nationals.
It's amazing. The Nationals have someone who's hit for a cycle, and the Marlins do not.
Similar to seeing Johan Santana throw the first no-hitter in Mets history earlier this year.
So the only team without a no-hitter, the San Diego Padres. There are 2 teams without cycles. The Marlins. Who's the other team? The Rays? Crack staff. Oh, 2. In the dirt, Hayes smothers it. Lombardozzi holding it first. Wave LeBlanc trying to get Bryce Harper. Carlos Zambrano pitched the first 6 innings of this ball game. He was a survivor. Didn't have his best stuff. Battled. 4 double plays. 2 of them line drive double plays.
Definitely got some help tonight.
3 runs earned, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Not a thing of beauty. But he's had, I mean, especially in April, he had 3 wins blown by Heath Bell. And so Zambrano is due for a win in a game where he doesn't have his best stuff.
I agree. Ryan Webb warming up in the bullpen, waiting, I think, to see what the result of this at-bat is, with the right-hander Zimmerman coming up.
Two coming. Foul back. Crack staff has alerted us that not only does San Diego not have a no-hitter, they haven't hit for the cycle either. It's amazing that a Tony Gwynn, Nate Colbert,
Dave Winfield, a lot of good players have come through San Diego.
Yeah, with a big ballpark. The Murph. Another 2-2 coming. LeBlanc. B.J. Upton went for the cycle for the Rays in 09. Aaron Hill with Arizona has done it twice.
Within 11 days, wasn't it? 11 days apart, 2 cycles. And the Marlins in 3,098 games have not had one.
Scott Hairston with a cycle as well. Of course, the no-hitter is more of a accomplishment, and the cycle is a little more of an oddity in that, you know, there are guys that have 4 hits, including a couple homers and a triple and a double.
Yeah.
And yet they don't get the notoriety of a single, double, triple, and homer.
Remember when Mark Whitten hit for the homer cycle? In one game, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. Solo, 2-run, 3-run, and a grand slam.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
3-2. Broken bat. I hope he was the player of the week for that.
He's the player of the week for that one game.
Infante made the catch. That was quite an at bat. LeBlanc and Harper snapping his bat as he goes down the dugout step.
That one doesn't count. It was already broken.
And so Wade LeBlanc gave up the hit to Lombardozzi, but he gets Harper and he leaves with 2 outs, and Webb comes in to try to get Ryan Zimmerman. Over the Washington Nationals for the vacationing Tommy Hutton. Jeff Conine sitting in tonight. Ryan Webb arrives, and his task is not an easy one, and that's get Ryan Zimmerman out. This is game 4 of this series. Zimmerman already has 8 hits, including 2 homers. He is singled, that was in the first, homered, that was in the third, and doubled in the 6th. The last cycle, Christian Guzman. Guzman, an oft-injured shortstop for the Nationals. The only thing that would make this complete for the Marlins is if it were a holiday, because Zimmerman has had some massive days. Oh, that one right out of the glove of Carlos Lee, and it rolls to the wall. You can tell just watching that Carlos Lee is not real experienced around the bag at first. A guy that was an outfielder the majority of his career, made the transition this year.
And Ryan Webb throws a good sinker to home plate. He also throws a pretty good sinker to first. That's got some action to it, but it's in the air. It should be caught.
And now Zimmerman can tie the game with a base hit. He's got some pretty good speed at second with Lombardozzi.
This series, we've seen Ryan Zimmerman's average go up 8 points against the Marlins. He started off this series 302 career with 15 homers. Now he's up to 310.
And as he gets healthier and gets hotter, that can only add to the second half run for the Nationals.
Yeah, this team, despite what they've gone through this first half with injuries, Deuce Storen, who's been out there, closer. Michael Morse missed a good chunk of time. Zimmerman missed some time. Jason Worth.
Wilson Ramos.
Well, all these guys will be coming back to kind of fortify this team for the stretch drive going into the postseason.
Webb's 1-1. Good breaking ball, and Zimmerman fouls it off. So you've got two Nationals here tonight who have shots at cycles. Zimmerman needs the triple. Espinosa needs the home run.
That'd be a good one for the crack staff if two teammates ever got in a cycle in the same game.
1-2 coming. Ouch. Webb was out in front of Zimmerman, hits him, and Ozzie Guillen displeased because he'll probably go get Randy Choate for LaRoche. He had the matchup he wanted, the right-hander to face Zimmerman. And let's see if Ozzie does in fact make that change.
Looks like it gets him right on the belt.
Marlin infield is converged on the mound. That generally means it's stall time. And Guillen shaking his head. Not throwing in the towel, but throwing down the towel. Hayes arrives back at the plate, and that's Ozzie's cue to get out and bring the left-hander in. So he's had to burn through the bullpen trying to get through this seventh inning. Miami still has the lead 4-3, but the Nationals have runners at first and second, and we step aside.
He's been battling the flu or flu-like symptoms, stomach virus. Yesterday, he actually went home, and he said maybe he caught a couple of outs during the game. He vomited 3, 4, 5 times, he told us. Still a little pale, still not feeling great, though he told me before the game that he could be ready to go. Ozzie Guillen was not quite as sure in his comments before the game, saying he didn't think he'd be strong enough to pitch tonight. So we'll have to see how that plays and how he's feeling if he gets a chance to get in this game, and the Marlins would hope for someone, maybe Cishek, to close it. Guys?
Yeah, and Craig, Ozzie Guillen obviously didn't want to have to use all these relievers in this inning. Much rather would have had Wade LeBlanc get through the inning, but as is, Ryan Webb and now Randy Choate. And Choate is probably in for just one hitter. If he doesn't get Adam LaRoche, I'd be very surprised if he faced Michael Morse, and he throws the pitch behind LaRoche.
Wow.
Wow, on 2 counts. 1 the pitch, 2 that Hayes caught it.
That is one of the better catches you're ever going to see a catcher make. I mean, that is way off the mark. Even Ozzie got a chuckle out of that one. That's where he wanted to go with it the first time, I think.
So you can't really say that the first pitch backed him off the plate. It kind of crowded him into the plate.
It got him closer.
Choate inherits runners first and second and 2 outs in the 7th. Miami trying to get a split with the first place Nationals. By process of elimination, and you heard Craig's report on Cishek's health, if it gets down to the 9th inning and it's a save situation, the probability that Heath Bell will be used increases now.
Mike Dunn is sitting out there riding a pretty good streak of successful outings. I think Ozzie would probably feel pretty comfortable with him, lefty or righty batter matchups.
Chad Gaudin is up, and you think Gaudin is up for Morse with the count 2-1. You got that nice symmetry working for the Nationals lineup with the switch hitter Lombardozzi, the lefty Harper, then the righty Zimmerman, then the lefty LaRoche. It's a manager's nightmare trying to match up in a spot like this.
Well, this is Randy Choate's bread and butter. He is that specialty of specialty left-handers that is basically in your bullpen to get one hitter out.
Ozzie patting Randy St. Clair on the back saying, well, every move we've made has worked out, wink wink, hasn't it? Here's the pitch. LaRoche swung at ball 4.
They got a beneficial call on the 1 strike that he's thrown this at bat. Second pitch was well off the plate.
He has yet to put it in the square. Trying to leave 2 more. Here in the top of the 7th in Miami. 3-2 coming. Fouled off of Hayes. And it stays at 3-2. That may have been the best pitch he's thrown in terms of location. And that one was just in the strike zone.
Adam LaRoche had a very good swing at that Randy Choate fastball, knowing that he's been throwing nothing but fastballs and he has to get one in the zone right here.
LaRoche is lined into a double play, flied out, struck out. Got him. Choate strikes out LaRoche, And it took 3 pitchers to do it, but the Marlins protect the lead. The 7th inning stretch has arrived in Miami, with the Marlins on top of the Nationals. What a wild ride for LaRoche. 4-3. Ozzie Guillen tried his best to get the matchups he wanted. It didn't work at first, but finally Randy Choate with a big strikeout to finish the top of the 7th. Your chance to play catch with Logan Morrison. Log on to JiffyLubeCatch.com and you can play catch with Lomo on the field here at Marlins Park before the July 27th game. Jiffy Lube, the official oil change of the Miami Marlins. This guy has been a real nice addition to the Nationals bullpen, and that's Michael Gonzalez. First pitch slugged into right from Ruggiano, and it lands foul. Ruggiano came in as part of a double switch. He leads off the bottom of the 7th with Jose Reyes and Emilio Bonifacio.
Since joining the Nationals June 3rd, Michael Gonzalez has only pitched 17 of 18 appearances scoreless.
That's all?
That's all. Is that good?
Yeah. So you got a hot pitcher against a hot hitter. Because Ruggiano, ever since he joined the Marlins, ever since June 1st, has been one of the best hitters average-wise in the game, and he's produced as well. One, and Ruggiano pulls it down the left field line. He's done it again. Boy, what a great ride this has been for Ruggiano. And at some point, you have to say, you know what? This isn't just a flash in the pan. This is a guy that has put in 2 solid months in the big leagues after waiting to get a chance to play every day. Another double.
Out in front just a little bit off the end, but pulls it down the line, and we're talking huge numbers. Fairly small sample size so far. He's 91 at bats, but that's a pretty good amount of at bats. Now hitting 385, has got before that about a 722 slugging percentage and a 447 on base percentage, which both of those have just gone up.
Reyes drops down a bunt. Gonzalez pounces, fires to first in time. Ruggiano's at third base. Marlins get him over. Now they got to get him in.
Now they got to get him in. That's the challenging part for this Marlins team all season long, is just getting that guy in from third base. The infield will be playing in right here.
We've got Bonifacio, who flips around to the right side. One of the struggles for Bonifacio this year hitting from this side of the plate. Bonifacio right-handed, over 300, but barely 208. Swing and a miss. A good live fastball from Gonzalez. Tom Gorzolani pitched the 6th. Edwin Jackson the first 5. Squeezes on, and Bonifacio drops it down. Nicely done.
This is pretty much a guaranteed run every single time. If the batter is able to put that ball onto the ground, and the runner does his job by leaving just perfect time, which Ruggiano did. Bonnie does a great job. That's a very defensive bunt. The ball was up and in. Puts it on the ground. It's an easy run. A very important big run tacked on right there.
Here's Carlos Lee. Gonzalez fell over after delivering that pitch. We'll check with the crack stat, but I think that's the first squeeze that the Marlins have called all year long.
That's the first one I can remember.
Here's the 1-0. And a breaking ball. Gonzalez thought it was a strike. Kind of looked sideways in at DJ Rayburn. The count's 2-0.
I think Carlos Lee might have thought that was a strike too.
Lee, a big 2-run single in the 3rd. That broke the ice for the Marlins tonight. Hanley Ramirez, 2 hitters later, would hit a big home run, a 2-run homer, and it's Heath Bell who is up and getting ready for the 8th inning. As Craig reported, and we touched on early, Steve Cishek was sick yesterday, feeling better. And Ozzie Guillen said if he was going to use him, it would be in very short relief, not like the other night where he got 5 outs out of him. Lee walks. And here comes Logan Morrison. So right now, it's Bell, it looks like, for the 8th. Maybe it's done, maybe it's Cishek.
They've probably been monitoring Cishek down in that bullpen to see how he's feeling during the course of this game. And knowing him and his makeup, he's probably going to say he's fine, and he'll go out there and take that ball for the 9th inning if called upon.
But if you follow the Marlins, you know there's a long way to get to the 9th. It's the bottom of the 7th here. Miami has a 5-3 lead. Morrison has walked. He's flied out twice. Lefty on lefty matchup here. Gonzalez, who stands on the 3rd base side of the rubber. A lot of lefties occupy the 1st base side to give him a little sharper angle, especially against left-handed hitters. One and 2. A Ruggiano double. A sacrifice bunt by Jose Reyes. A squeeze bunt by Emilio Bonifacio. That's how Miami has this 5-3 lead. Morrison pops it up. 3rd base side. Zimmerman charges in front of the Marlins dugout. He makes the catch. And the inning ends, but the Marlins scratch out a run. 5-3. Emilio Bonifacio, dirty from head to toe, and that's always a good sign. He's been a spark plug tonight. A squeeze bunt, a sacrifice bunt, and a single and a stolen base. You can visit the Marlins homepage on foxsportsflorida.com and vote on tonight's poll question, the Cleveland Clinic Florida Community Poll question. Marlins make another change defensively. With Cousins coming in, you would expect that the pitcher spot, or Heath Bell, will enter in the ball game into Morrison's spot in the lineup. Ruggiano already hitting ninth. Pitcher in the Dobbs spot. So as Bell delivers, Mike Morse fouls it back.
Now this is where Heath Bell has got to earn his way back into that closer role. Appearances like this, the Marlins need a scoreless shutout inning.
And Morse pounds another one into center field. Michael Morse, 3 hits. So you can hear the fans getting on Heath Bell right now. This, for Bell, may not be a save situation, but it has to feel like it. And here comes Espinoza. Danny Espinoza, another one of those Long Beach State shortstops. Nationals 3rd round pick in 2008. Now he's a home run shy of the cycle. Bell misses outside. The Marlins the other night were able to get Heath Bell an inning in a soft landing. Mike Dunn is up, and Ozzie Guillen isn't messing around. So Dunn is up and heated up, ready to go.
Yeah, he stated right after the All-Star break, or during the All-Star break, that there are going to be some major changes at the back end of this bullpen. It was going to be a bullpen by committee as far as save situations were concerned, and well, he's throwing the kitchen sink at him tonight.
Yeah, the whole committee has been busy. LeBlanc, Webb, Choate, now Bell. Espinoza, a big swing and a miss. And who knows, if Dunn is up now and comes in, Ozzie could try to do what he did with Cishek earlier in this series and have him get 5 outs. Bell with a count 1-2. Good breaking ball, and he went around. It's that breaking ball that Bell has had trouble with, and you see how effective it is. He's usually got that good downward plane on the fastball, which makes this pitch tough to lay off.
That pitch looking in there, if it's thrown right, looks like a fastball coming in out of his hand. It's got that plane, and as you saw, he committed to swinging at that ball early, and look where it ended up. I mean, extremely low. But that tells me he's got good arm action on it. You can't see spin. You can't recognize that pitch early. And Espinoza swung at it.
Roger Bernardina. Morse is still at first base. Guillen saying during the All-Star break, when it was closer by committee, that for Bell to reclaim the closing job, he's going to have to pitch his way back into it. He took a step with a scoreless inning yesterday. Liner to right center, and Ruggiano comes on and makes the catch. A couple important things here. Number one is to get out of this inning without giving up a run, but I think also to get out of this inning and not have Mike Dunn come into the game. That gives Guillen the option of Dunn and Cishek if Cishek is healthy enough to pitch in the ninth.
Yeah, he could match him up with just have him get an out or something if he needs to at the very end.
Flores, a sacrifice fly, and twice he's bounced to short. Once was a double play. And a strike. Bell at 93 miles an hour, and he looks sharp right now. Bell, one of the Marlins that shaved his head in that big event the other day. Bald is beautiful, in support of youngsters with cancer, and Bell fired up. Counts 0-2. Crowd trying to get him through it. High fastball and a check swing. Still 0-2. Single by Morse, his third hit of the night. But Bell struck out Espinosa. Bernardina flied to right. Now Bell is 0-2 on Jesus Flores.
And not necessarily that was a bad pitch. I think you have to be able to throw that breaking ball to get guys off of your fastball. He doesn't have a fastball that moves an entire or a whole lot. It's not a big sinker or a cutter or anything like that. It's pretty straight. So when guys know that fastball is coming, they're going to really gear up for it. So you throw that curveball just to give them a different look, to get the plane of their eyes off of your fastball.
You face Bell, and he's one of those guys that you hear people say kind of leaps out at you.
Yeah, when I faced him early on when he was with New York, it did. It almost had a second gear. The fastball almost seemed to accelerate mid-flight. Obviously, didn't do that, but the way he came at you, it did look like that.
And he fires it by him. Hayes reacts. Bell reacts. 94 miles an hour on the fastball. And what a pick-me-up that is for the Marlins. Look at Hayes. .53 Miami in the bottom of the 8th. Enjoying your favorite ballpark food and drinks has never been easier. Just download the free MLB.com at the Ballpark app for iPhone or Android phones. Select Marlins Park and place your order. You'll receive a text message when your order is ready. Go to Marlins.com and download at the Ballpark now. Now it's a hard-throwing right-hander, Henry Rodriguez. Both bullpens are working a lot in this ball game. Third reliever for Davey Johnson. Hanley Ramirez, Scott Cousins, and then Omar Infante. With the 2 double switches, the pitcher has ended up for the Marlins in the cleanup spot, Logan Morrison's spot. That's where Heath Bell currently is in the lineup. It's a spot behind Hanley. Hanley, a 2-run homer in the third. A walk and a stolen base. And he bounced into a fielder's choice. Rodriguez touching 98. 2-1. Around baseball tonight. 1-game final. Boston 5-1. Beating the White Sox. Kevin Youkilis 3 for 4. But Adrian Gonzalez had the big hit, a 3-run homer. He drove in 4. And games midway through in the National League. Rockies 3-1 over the Pirates. Bottom of the 5th. Bottom 6 scoreless in Milwaukee. Cardinals and Brewers.
I heard today that the humidor is not working anymore in Colorado. They've given up more home runs at that stadium than any other in Major League Baseball, including Yankee Stadium.
But they're still using the humidor.
But they mysteriously have no explanation for why balls are flying out of there so much more this year than in past years.
Two. Ooh, good breaking ball. Hanley was frozen. And Rodriguez, if you can throw 98, 99 and then snap one off like that.
Previous pitch, Hanley had a little bit to say about that. Thought it might have been outside, but after you see a 98 on the black and then you see pitch number 4 was what Hanley was complaining about. And pitch 5 right in the strike zone.
Now Cousins will see if he can catch up to this fastball.
Rodriguez, obviously electric stuff. Lives in the 97 to 100 mile an hour range with the fastball. You saw the great breaking ball there, but control has always been an issue with him in the minor leagues. A lot of walks. That's why you see the 4.94 ERA, even though he has stuff like he has.
And there were thoughts early in the season when Storen went down that Rodriguez could slide into that closer role, but that didn't work. Tyler Clippard has done it nicely. You see Dunn, and so all indications are it will be Dunn, and if maybe necessary for a hitter, Cishek.
Well, I would think if Cishek's in the thought process at all, he would be up at least getting loose right now. Don't see him stretching or throwing or doing anything, any activity in that bullpen.
As Craig reported, he was sick yesterday. Watched the game a little bit from home. Cousins takes down low.
Yeah, very pale too. As Cishek told us he thought he could pitch, but as I told you earlier, Ozzie Guillen did not feel that way. Heath Bell's keeping his arm warm here on the bench, and talked with Hayes when he came off, and he's still sitting over here. You wonder maybe even if he gets a batter and then Dunn comes in as the lefty and the top of the lineup comes in.
Cousins hits that ball pretty well, but Bernardina is there at the track. It's a good point, Craig, because as you look at the 9th inning for the Nationals, Bryce Harper is due up third. So maybe Bell for a hitter or two, and then Dunn for Harper, depending on where the game is in terms of score. And don't put it past Ozzie to if things go well to start, try to get 6 outs out of Bell.
Let him go.
Cousins gave that one a ride. Bernardina seems to run down everything in this series in center field. The only ball he hasn't caught was the one Hanley hit up in that sculpture.
Mike Dunn has no career major league saves. He's never saved a game in the big leagues. 14 saves in 6 seasons in the minors. His best season was 7 saves in 2010. So that'll be uncharted territory for him if he comes in the game. This is probably one of the most difficult type of pitchers to face as a hitter. You've got 97 miles an hour going everywhere, up, in, away, and then he might paint you 3 times on the outside corner. Very tough to get comfortable.
High drive. Morse is calling. Bernardina calls him off. Morse, just in case, was there. And we'll see what Ozzie does here. 5-3 Miami going to the 9th. It's the 9th. The Marlins trying to get the split. And Mike Dunn is looking for his first big league save. Marlins Live follows the game. It's presented by Checkers. Highlights, a recap, and a preview by the dapper Preston Wilson of the Cubs series. Preston at his spot, looking good, feeling good. Oh, man. I mean, you talk about well-dressed.
Who's he talking to? Is he doing a little karaoke out there in center field?
He's got the vest going. He's got the tie going.
You know, hanging out with some fans out here that come by. They say hello. It's a good time out here, man.
Got the photo booth going?
Yeah. You know, you stop by. You get to shake some hands. You know, you get to hear some well wishes, take a picture or two. It's a good time out here.
Well, Preston and Jeff, this is an interesting spot here for Mike Dunn, who has never recorded a save in the big leagues. The success that Dunn has enjoyed coming back to the major leagues from his last stop in the minors was because he learned to, in his words, pitch relaxed. Instead of pitching to velocity, he found that he was pitching to location. And his first pitch is foul back. And the way he did that, as you look at Tyler Moore, the pinch hitter. The way he did that was he was given a 3-inning assignment and told, you're going to pitch for 3 innings. And Dunn is used to just throwing a couple hitters or an inning it. And so he said he went into that thinking, I need to ease up just to get through this. And what he found was, at nice and easy, he was still 94, and he could throw his slider for a strike, which is something he struggled with in the big leagues. And so he's kept that feeling, that relaxed feeling, and it's translated to the big leagues. Moore in the air to center. Bonifacio racing into the gap, and he's there and makes the catch. And so the question is, can he stay relaxed in a spot that he's really never been in the big leagues?
Well, hopefully he's out there taking it like any other inning that he's been in the last 7 or 8 appearances, which have been outstanding. And it goes to the fact where, when you play tennis or you play golf or swinging a baseball bat, whenever you try to hit it hard, you don't actually hit it harder. Your body tenses up and your mechanics don't work as well. So the same goes for pitching. When you try to throw the ball hard,
line drive, Reyes has got it.
It's not going to go as fast. So he finally realized that, hey, if I relax a little bit and let my natural ability take over, I'm going to throw just as hard with less effort.
And let my shortstop make a play on a BB off the bat of Lombardozzi.
Well, that works too.
All right, now here's Bryce Harper. And it's done against Harper. Into left field. That's a base hit. And Harper has his first hit since game 1. That brings Ryan Zimmerman to the plate. And he represents the tying run. And now here is kind of the rub of closer by committee with Cishek being sick. And that is Dunn on the mound, Zimmerman the tying run at the plate, and you don't have a right-hander to come in and pitch to him. Now Dunn's been able to get lefties and righties out on his return to the big leagues. But this is really a test. Look at the night that Zimmerman has had. He's a triple shy of the cycle. Harper's running on the pitch, which misses outside. Hayes is on his way out to the mound. You've got Godin and Cishek, who, as Craig pointed out, looks rather pale and gaunt after his bout with the flu, which is hopefully leaving him, but obviously not available tonight.
I'm sure it mentally what a letdown for Cishek after the save he had the other night. I'm sure he wanted to get right back out there and kind of claim that closer role and show everybody that he is up to the task of taking that on, and he gets sick and can't be there.
I think he's just happy to keep dinner down tonight, which he was unable to do last night. 2-0. If Dunn loses Zimmerman, he will have a lefty, LaRoche, but then you put the tying run on base. Outside corner, 96 miles an hour. There's LaRoche. Zimmerman has 8 hits in this series. 2 home runs, 2 doubles. In 3-1. So this is this has got to be a real battle for Mike Dunn to stay composed, stay calm, and don't overthrow. In a spot where it's tough to be composed. There's the slider, and that's a great sign that he can throw it for a strike. 3-2.
Yeah, Rich, like you said, it's never been in this situation before. The struggles in the Marlins bullpen have been highly publicized. They know what's going on, and to him, to his credit, He looks pretty calm out there.
Crowd on their feet. 3-2 coming. Lost him. Zimmerman walks. Here comes LaRoche.
And here comes Randy Sinclair to have a little chat with Mike Dunn.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that chat includes, hey, you're overthrowing. Calm down. Dial it down just a little bit. Hayes in on the conversation. He's had a nice night behind the plate. 5-3 Miami on top of the Nationals. Marlins hoping for a split with a team that has the best record in the National League to open up the second half, and then it's on to Chicago. Marlins leaving after this one. 3 games in Chicago, 3 games in Pittsburgh against the hot Pirates. Though the Pirates are losing in Colorado 4-1 in the top of the 6th tonight. LaRoche first pitch.
Good get me over slider there for Mike Dunn. You're a hitter coming up, especially a left-handed hitter against left-handed pitcher. You don't see too many lefties throwing 96 miles an hour. You got to be geared up for that fastball.
Remember, LaRoche struck out against Choate to finish the 7th. Another slider.
10-mile-an-hour difference between those 2 sliders. That first one was almost, a lot of times they'll throw a BP, what they call a BP fastball. It's just kind of something that to change the speed and a different look, and that first one was just that BP slider, I guess.
Tying runs at first. That's Zimmerman. Harper the runner at second. Mike Dunn has never saved a game in the big leagues. Marlins are hoping he can here tonight. Dunn ready. 0-2 coming. Hayes digs it out of the dirt.
That was a pitch going back to spring training. I remember he was on the field that I was on in spring training as an observer, and he would come up to me afterwards and ask me a lot about how the slider was moving. Like, he was not real confident in the way it was breaking, and I was telling him from what I was seeing it was a great pitch, and he just needs that confidence in it.
And the ability to throw it for strikes. Now the 1-2. Fastball, got him! Ball game, 96. He went 77, 87, 96, and he strikes out LaRoche. Closer by committee works tonight. LeBlanc, Webb, Choate, Bell, Dunn. Hanley Ramirez with a 2-run homer. Carlos Lee, a big 2-run single. And a feel-good win for Miami before heading out on the road. 5 runs, 7 hits for Ozzie Guillen's Marlins. 3 runs, 11 hits for the Nationals. It took 3 hours and 11 minutes to play. There were 29,248 here. It's a final. Marlins win it 5-3. Back after this.